Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our club and our digital mode class for PSK31 operations. Your presenter today is Ralph McCullough. Ralph is the Vice President of Gulf Coast Amateur Radio Club and current Pasco County Emergency Coordinator. Ralph has been involved in amateur radio since 1974 and is a retired police officer from Carroll Township, Pennsylvania. Ralph is a member of ARRL and Amateur Radio Lighthouse Society. Let's welcome Ralph McCullough.
Thank you, Bob. And feel free to answer any or ask any questions as we go along through this. What is PSK31? Well, it's phase shift keying. It was developed in 1998 by Peter Martinez from Great Britain, and it has become one of the most popular methods of keyboard-to-keyboard communication that has come into existence. The information is transmitted in patterns to keyboard, or in patterns using polarity, reversal, and narrow bandwidth at 31 hertz. That can accommodate many conversations in the same bandwidth, and uses a voice channel, is effective with low power transmissions. Typically used with single sideband transceiver and a sound card from a computer running PSK31 decoding software. PSK31 is often used to overcome interference and poor propagation conditions, but it has limited error correction and is not suitable for data transmissions that we would use with other modes of the digital modes. This is just for more casual conversations where error tolerance is acceptable. Commonly used on Windows supported software such as Digipan, FL Digi, Ham Radio Deluxe with Digital Master 700, Multi PSK, and there are couple other software packages out there. If PSK31 uses what is called Veracode, and the Veracode is very similar in transmission properties to Morse code, whereas the most commonly used characters are have the shortest code. If you look on the screen here, that is what the digital code for PSK is. Now take a good look, because I'm going to have a test at the end of it. But believe me, if you would hear, this is what PSK sounds like. So if you could decode that, you're a better man than I am, because it's almost impossible. You'll need a sound card, an interface with either include a rig or external sound card device specifically designed for this purpose. There are two major supporters of this interface. It's Signal Link USB from Tigertronics. It's just a little box like this with the ports on the back of it that interfaces between your radio and your computer. Runs for usually around $130, and if you tell them specifically what your radio is you're using, they have all kinds of cables that are compatible, and that will be included in the package. The other most common ones is the Signal Link, Rig Blaster. There's quite a number of these devices out. It includes mic compatibility and rig control. But for this purpose today, I am using the Ham Radio Deluxe package with the Digital Master 780. If we could go and flip it over onto the... Okay, get into the little bit of a demonstration. This is Ham Radio Deluxe, and I like it myself because it has the rig control. As you can see, what I'm using today is a Yaesu FT 897D, and all the little buttons on there have complete control over the rig and can digitally change the channels or the frequencies just by single point and click. And it's very easy to use. Now this version I am presently using is the 5.28.36 version of the Ham Radio Deluxe. It's the last free version that was made. And Sam Brown that developed it sold it to a gentleman here in Florida, actually down in Tampa. And his company now is selling it for $99 a year subscription with full backup. And it will handle all the newer rigs like the ASU FT997, a lot of the sound card or the computer controlled. I can't even think of what I'm trying to say here. The software defined radios is it will take that. Now, once you get into the PSK, and all of these are basically the same to start out, you're presented with what they call tags. And this is where you put in your call sign, your name, if you want to put age in there, that's fine. Your locator, your QTH, any information you want about yourself, your home page if you have one, your club affiliations, and then your equipment that you are using. You can even get down into some weather and other user-defined tags that you can set up on your own. These tags are used for the macros, because everything on this, you can either type it all yourself, or it's so much easier to use a macro. And this is all the software will do the same. As you can see here, it's his call sign, and my call sign. And then you can add in any phrases or shortcuts that you want, and it can tell it to erase itself and then stop. You can also write up to 10 with this particular program, up to 10 different sets of macros for contesting or holidays, whatever you want to designate it for, and it's quite a nice package with this one. Then when you get into the operation, this also links with the logbook that is provided with the Ham Radio Deluxe. And with the logbook, I don't have the bandwidth right now to connect for the spots, because if you had the spots, you could just point and click on that. The radio would go to that particular spot and band. But this also automatically logs all the contacts that you make, and you can configure Ham Radio Deluxe logbook to export it to Logbook of the World and EQSL, a couple other ones. Okay, you're getting into a conversation. This is a PSK31 conversation that's going on right now. It's 31 hertz wide, and you can imagine when it gets busy, this whole band could possibly be filled up with 20, 30, 40 conversations going on. It's decoding it, and whatever this guy is saying is just printing out up here. Now I can go on, if I find an open frequency, and call CQ on my own. Now I'm transmitting. Now we're transmitting at about 30 watts right now. And this is going to WA4GDN, the club call, calling CQ, and it'll automatically erase and stop.
Well, could you explain the two windows that we're looking at?
Okay, the three windows that we are looking at here this is the logbook over here, or the connection to the logbook. If you have a subscription to QRZ or one of the other 2 or 3 call sign lookup programs that are out there, once you punch the call sign in, it will automatically populate that information. Okay, this It'll automatically populate that information over into the call book, and at the end of the conversation, it'll automatically log it. Give it a try again, because I want to try and...
How many times should we call CQ to see if we get a response?
as many times as you want. It's really nothing...
Doesn't it get annoying after a while to other hymns?
Not necessarily, because, you know, if they want to talk to you, they're going to talk to you one way or another.
It's just like going on the air, going on the repeater, call CQ on the repeater.
Now, again, this is a PSK31 or 31 hertz wide. Here is a signal that is PSK63 or 63 hertz wide. There's also PSK125, which is, if you can see how wide this little yellow bar is here, that's how wide the 125 or 125 hertz wide. So it all depends on what you want to use. The 63 is like 3 times faster than the PSK31, and the PSK125 is about 4 to 5 times faster than the PSK63. See if I can get him.
By watching the waterfall, can you determine what speed you're doing it?
Well, yeah, looking at the waterfall, if you saw all those on there, the width of them, you can tell it's either PSK31, PSK63, or some other mode. Now, this particular program, let's see if he comes back to me. No, the band's shifting again. I got that on there by right-clicking on this gentleman's call, and it automatically pops it up into the call sign section of the logbook. And then when I hit the macro for replying to him, it comes in, it automatically starts the transmitter, and stops and erases it. And let's see if he will reply to me. Okay, he's not replying to me. And again, the information, if it doesn't come in automatically, you can right-click and it'll pop in. Like here's his name, QTH.
Is he on PSK63 now?
No, he's still on PSK31 and the locator.
So what is that extends beyond the yellow line? Is that overmodulation?
Yes, he's hitting it a little bit hard. And now once I got his name and other information with the macros that are on there, that were set on there, I can answer him by his name and give him my information. And you can see as it's printing, it draws a line through it down on this is the receive screen up here. This is the transmit screen down here. And as it transmits to him, it draws a line through where that particular characters that it's going through, so you know where you're at in the conversation. Now you can also do this, like I said, also do this manually. I prefer to do the macros because I'm a horrible typist.
So at least it up with a type.
Yeah. Yeah. I was looking to see if there was a PSK. Now these are all PSK31 signals going on. This wide one right here might be a PSK63, but it's so far down I might not be able to pick it up, but I'm just waiting for this conversation to be over with. He's saying it's fine business. I have a minus 25 dB signal. He's giving me information on his station and at the present time. And as you can see, it's decoding it and typing it out up on the screen up there as he's sending it.
And the QSO is being logged, everything is...
QSO, all the information, the time, and everything else is being logged over on the right-hand side, or the extreme left-hand side of the screen.
Well, on that signal you're watching right now, what's the QTH of it?
What's that?
What's the QTH?
Greene County, Pennsylvania.
Do I know him?
I don't know. W3NYQ.
I might. Greene County, Pennsylvania. I know a lot of people up that way. What was that call sign again,
W3NYQ.
Seems slow.
It is, it's a slow mode to get the information across. I mean, there are some, actually there's some modes you can get into, and I'll show you in a minute what some of these other modes that come with this program are, as soon as we get done with our conversation.
Dad?
Okay, this right here is the modes that PSK30, the Digital Master 780, can do. And I mean, I haven't counted them, but there's a ton of modes that it can handle. You can customize it. You can put whatever modes you want in there. Why isn't it decoding it again? Okay. Okay, if you look at this particular one, where my lines are, that's a PSK63 width.
Would this count on field day for contests?
Yes, oh yes, definitely. Because we used,
Yeah, that guy was doing quite a few contacts with PSK.
yeah, it counts just as digital contacts. So now that we're set up and running with this, we're going to use it a good bit next year for field day if we can.
Is 30 watts typical?
You can actually set up whatever you want for your wattage. I mean, there's some guys like to use QRP, and the QRP can go down to somewhere in the neighborhood of 2, 3, 4, 5 watts. There's guys that have worked the world with 4 or 5 watts. Okay, this is a PSK63 conversation over here, if I can get it. Map, it's
According to what I looked up, that call sign did not exist. According to QRZ.
I understand that. N3YWQ.
Yeah. And, okay, hold on.
Now this particular signal here is slightly overmodulated, and you can see it's given echoes down the band. So that is really PSK31. Does anybody have any questions? Chris?
That one you just did for Greene County, Greensboro, PA.
Okay.
Andrew, A-N-D-R-E-W, middle initial S, Birch, B-U-R-I-C-H, Jr.
Well, he's using his middle initial for his name.
Yeah. That's again. His email is his call sign at hotmail.com.
Okay. You know, as you can see, this guy is saying CQ for a QSO party. So, you know, I mean, it's used for contesting. It's used for a lot of uses. See, that guy's way down in the weeds. I don't know where he's at. Or I'd have Chris run in and swing the beam that way.
Can you talk about PSK Reporter?
Okay, there are some software out there, or not software, but websites. It's called PSK Reporter, and you would go onto that. And again, I don't have the bandwidth to do it here to show it, but it will show you who's on, where the signals are propagating from. Yeah, this is the PSK Reporter screenshot of it.
There's a huge amount of activity.
Well, it's a weekend. It usually is.
Yeah. And
I mean, I've seen weekends that the band is just solid, which is good.
So if you're on doing, even if you're testing your rig in PSK31, you can come here and see if someone has seen your signal.
Right.
So you can know if you're getting out.
Yes. Chris?
Space Station, do they use this too?
No.
They don't do PSK?
No, they don't.
They only do analog voice, right?
Right. No, they do some telemetry, but not much, and slow scan TV.
Okay, I didn't know if they ran PSK.
Now, one of the nice things too about this Ham Radio Deluxe package is with this Digital Master, it will also do slow scan TV, and the control, the Ham Radio Deluxe itself, he's still testing, so
You wanna,
no, he's fine. But the Ham Radio Deluxe package will also do the satellites, which means you can click on it and it will do the rotor. If you have one of the fancy ones that goes up and down as long as swinging, horizontal plus the azimuth, it will actually track because it downloads the information from NORAD and tracks the satellite for you. You can use it for satellite communications. It's quite a nice package.
and the reason why I like Ham Radio Deluxe, as my dad was showing me at one time, is you can actually pinpoint and watch the International Space Station.
Well, that's a satellite, just like anything other the other ham radio satellites.
Anything with a satellite, I thought it was a habitat.
It is a habitat, but it's still considered a satellite.
So would you say that the PSK31 is similar to a text conversation on the internet or
Yeah.
cell phone?
Really, that's it. It's just basically texting.
Except you're talking to people all over the world that you don't know.
Right.
And the only thing you have in common are your hands.
Exactly. Now, again, this package will do RTTY, and let's see if there's anybody on this afternoon in RTTY land.
Won't do teletype.
Yes, it does teletype. I said, when you can see the modes. I mean, there's, what, 1, 2, 3. I mean, there's, what, 50, 60 modes that it will do. Now, this particular multi-PSK won't do some of the shorter digital modes like FT 65 or JT 65, and the newest one they have is that FT8.
They said they're working on it.
Yeah, the Ham Radio Deluxe people are working on it. So
How about Ridian 30 meters?
it's kind of early in the day for 30 meters. Yeah, see, we're not much going on 30 meters right now.
It looks like dead space.
Yeah.
So that's pretty nice that you can just flip on the frequency.
Yeah, and that's what I love about this, because with the control with the Ham Radio Deluxe, all these buttons, gadgets, and gizmos, I mean, I can change the mode. Right now, all the PSK conversations are in upper sideband. But as far as the mode goes, I can change this particular to lower sideband, FM, just about anything you want.
And what I find out when I'm using it, what makes it nice is if you got all your favorites frequencies saved on the side, all you gotta do is go to the side, click, and you're on any repeater you have saved on the side, you're good to go.
Yeah, you can set the favorites up for anything you want. Like I have this one set up for all the local repeaters if I was on 2 meters, but I have the PSK frequencies, most of the popular ones, already in here. So it's quite nice.
And you can do CW as well?
Yeah, you can do CW with this too. It's the newer versions, the 6-point versions that you pay for, are better interfaced with the for CW than the older versions, but it still works pretty doggone good. So does anybody have any questions? Okay, well, I thank all of you for showing an interest in coming today. Hope I answered some of your questions or gave you some useful information.
Thank you, Ralph.
Roy said it's too much like work.
All right, does everyone have a door prize ticket? Anybody missing a ticket? Did you get one, Roy?
Does,
The door prize is
here you go, Bob.
an SDR radio, USB dongle.